we receive a lot of police reports, and we have a very strong relationship with the police, so they can see the knock-on benefits to some of the initiatives that we roll out in terms of, I guess, providing facilities and resources for community or for PCSOs. And again, I suppose I'm looking for ideas in measuring the actual impact of that and the outcome of that, of those investments with the police force and those partnerships. Improves the lives of customers, I guess. Again, when we've identified what area needs an intervention, rolling out the actual project to deal with the actual issue, it improves the lives of our customers, and I think that's fairly obvious. And obviously, I suppose from a self-regulatory point of view, we can detail exactly, and we can show an evidence base as to why we invested in a particular area. And this is all part, if you look at your pack there, this is all part of our research, intelligence and innovation kind of drive and push. So what feeds the WINS tool? We look at QL, or Housing Management System. As I said, the neighbourhood plan data and the primary information, the actual, the qualitative and quantitative data, which is all fed into the WINS tool, in which we kind of mix up to come up with a particular score for the actual neighbourhood, again, allowing us to prioritise. I do have a lovely example, a practical example of before and after there of one of our estates, but again, it doesn't do it justice here in the actual, on the handout. But it kind of gives you an idea of, and I can send the presentation to anybody afterwards, but it gives you an idea of, I guess, the condition of some of our neighbourhood. One neighbourhood in particular is the Sherbourne regeneration area, and what it looks like now. So, for example, before we rolled out, I guess, the external and internal improvements, antisocial behaviour accounted for, there was something like 9 cases, for example, in 2008, and in 2010, after the work was completed, it was reduced to 1. So it was, again, trying to quantify the actual benefits of the actual the projects themselves and the regeneration initiatives. So, and again, linked to demand, pre-2008, highest percentage of turnover this particular neighbourhood and transfer requests, and post-2010, 90% of respondents to the neighbourhood plan survey said they intended on staying in the area. Again, the primary information is very important here, and I suppose Wulvern are lucky enough in that we have the resources, I guess, to roll out questionnaires and primary data collection. So in terms of Community Investment Fund, as I alluded to earlier, there's an organisation in Crewe called Crewe Christian Concern, and what they do effectively is they look at, well, they take all our old furniture, I guess, from our housing stock, and they use it, I guess, to they do it up, I guess, and they use it to sell on to make profits for themselves, which is then re-put back into the actual charity itself. So in 2009, Wulvern invested £10,000, supported 17 local adults with learning difficulties. 4,400 hours of activity, construction projects, work experience, obviously for the actual participants themselves, personal development, work experience. So they're all positive things. 886 pieces of furniture, valued at 62,000, and just at the end, the total financial impact to the local economy was well, 261,000. So again, I suppose in terms of looking at social return on investment, you divide 10,000 into that to get your ratio. And again, I suppose for us and kind of for our social regeneration team and the physical regeneration team, it's putting forward cases like that to the exec team and to the board to justify expenditure and resource allocation. So finally, in terms of challenges and barriers, quantifying the benefits for the partners is not always easy, and I guess that's why we're all here, to answer that question and to kind of get a few ideas rolling as to how we go along and do that. The qualitative data, as myself and Vanessa were speaking about earlier, I guess for us, we use quantitative analysis in terms of when we use the looking for the primary data in the questionnaires, because it's easily kind of dissected, it's easily input into the actual WINS tool itself. Qualitative information is a bit more difficult, and again, I'm looking for some ideas as to how how we use our qualitative data to the maximum capacity. Community and perceptions and reputation, obviously putting a figure on that, for example, for us, is quite difficult. And I guess one of the unique things about the WINS tool as well is that we don't only interview and use the questionnaires on our tenants, but we also engage with owner-occupiers and private landlords again, because that kind of makes up a neighbourhood. And if the neighbourhood is performing well from their perspective and from ours, it's obviously it's quite appealing to tenants who want to move into our properties, again from a company point of view and also from a customer and neighbourhood point of view. As I said, striking the balance between the three indicators of sustainability, social, economic and environmental, and we like to think that we have done that to a certain degree. And again, social return on investment, well, where do you stop, how long is a piece of string? You could, in terms of benefits, wider benefits, societal benefits, you could talk about it all day effectively, but again, I'm looking for ideas from around the table. So that's where we are. Thanks for listening.